What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update. If you haven't already, smash that subscribe button. Only 60% of you that are watching this video are currently subscribers. That means 40% of you need to go and smash that subscribe button. Tell them so.
Oh, nearly half of them. Nearly half of them not subscribed. Well, what are you waiting for? You watch every day. You like the videos. I see you watching, but I don't see you subscribing. So come on, guys. Really appreciate if everyone did subscribe who's watching the video.
We are also on other social media platforms such as X, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. So go and show us some love over there as well. But let's get into the Tottenham update, starting off with the most surprising news of the week regarding Timo Werner, as Fabrizio Romano says that Tottenham will not sign Timo Werner on a permanent deal from RB Leipzig this summer. Spurs' position has not changed with regards to the decision on the German. Surprise, seeing as he can barely make a matchday squad at the moment.
Yeah, I wonder if his stock's probably risen since he's been left out the matchday squad, to be fair. So he's probably closer to staying than he was before when he was on the pitch. But the reality is he's out the Europa League squad. He's not trusted in Premier League. The guy has fallen off the face of the earth. We don't see him anymore. He's MIA, and I don't think. Do you think we've seen the last of him in the Spurs shirt?
100%.
Yeah, no more appearances.
I don't think so. I think the one that really did it for Ange, I think, was the Tamworth game.
Tamworth, yeah, that was his last game, wasn't it? Was that his last game?
He might have appeared once since then. I'm not sure, but that Tamworth game, was that the game that Ange came out and spoke about him as well?
No, Rangers. That was
Rangers. But I mean, Tamworth was Arsenal Rangers, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think both those games, just Ange was just like, I've had enough of this guy. I've put my faith in him twice, and he spat in my face twice.
Yeah, I think it gave Ange goosebumps watching Werner play. So I think that's it. I think that's it for him.
It is quite sad to see, though, like when you look back 5 or 6 years ago, the heights that he had reached, joined Chelsea, a big money move, won the Champions League there, without doing too much. I mean, and now Spurs have signed him on another loan deal and he can't even make a matchday squad.
Yeah, it's been a disaster. There's no two ways about it. It's been a horrendous loan signing from Tottenham. It was a massive mistake. And I really hope he goes somewhere and recaptures some sort of form that he had back in the day, whether it be the MLS, wherever it is. But it is a shame because there was once a very talented player there, but he's just a shadow of his former self, and he has been for a while. But Tottenham can't afford to take any more time with him, to be honest. I think we know that it's time to move on from him. And look, at the beginning of the season, we knew it was a massive risk re-signing him on a loan deal, even though at times last season he did okay, but it hasn't paid off whatsoever, and it's time to part ways.
Exactly. We're not allowing any more passengers on the ship. Let's move on to a player called Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I was about to say Dom Solanke there. Publication called Fijajes, obviously very reliable, say that Tottenham are looking to sign Calvert-Lewin this summer as a free agent. You fancy it?
It's a free agent. That's got Levy's ears perked, I bet. I swear Calvert-Lewin is still living off like a season he had like 4 years ago when he scored like 10 goals in a season in like half a year. And then the goals dried up. Werner. Yeah, it sounds like Werner. Like I remember, I think it was under Rafa Benitez, or was it under? I can't remember who it was under. But he scored maybe it was Ancelotti. He scored like 10 goals up until Jan, and then the goals really dried up. And ever since then, he's really not had a great goal scoring record.
There's injuries as well. Injuries
has played a big part, but obviously he didn't score for 16 games, and then scored against Spurs. And then hasn't scored since, probably, which sounds about right. Dr. Tottenham, yet again. Look, I do think there's a decent striker in there somewhere, but nothing more than decent. Like this guy, at his very best, is probably a 10-goal a season striker.
He hasn't even hit that for a number of years as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this season he's got 3. Last season 7. Season before 2. Season before that 5. So, I mean, you're really clutching at straws here because the last decent season he had was 2021 with 16 goals, and the prior season to that was 13. But every other season, he's flattered the sea, really.
I think if he moves, he probably doesn't even go to the top half of the Prem. He probably goes somewhere in the bottom half. That's why I think
one of the promoted teams or something like that.
Maybe like that. Yeah, I definitely don't see Tottenham going for him, that's for sure.
But with Calvert-Lewin leaving Everton, it does leave a gap open there. Do you think they will be looking at Richarlison?
I think they would like him. It's whether Richie would go there.
I don't see why he wouldn't go there. I think
he might do. I think maybe Moyes can help him recapture that form. Will Everton stump up, the money that'll be required to get him? Probably between 20 and 30 million, somewhere in that range. If they are, then maybe there is something to be done there.
Let's talk about Ryan Cherki of Lyon. Give Me Sports says that Cherki has a £25 million release clause in his contract with Man United and Tottenham among the clubs interested. I mean, there were a lot of question marks about Cherki, weren't there, over the past couple of years with the undeniable talent that he does have. But this year, he seemed to really knuckle down, hasn't he?
He has, and he's been balling out also for the under-21s at international level. And he's been absolutely brilliant for Lyon, and he's a fantastic, fantastic talent. He's been around for a few years. I know he's still young. And I guess the big question marks about, work rate and does he track back and defend, all these kind of things, which in modern day football are very, very important. So I understand there's a high stock on those things, but the guy is one of the most talented players, I think, at his age group in Europe. I think the guy has unbelievable skills. He's an absolute baller. The dribbling ability, he has the shooting ability off both feet. It's about harnessing that. And I guess there is a fear. Is he going to turn into like another Adel Taarabt with all the ability and then never really fulfilling it? Or can someone grab him and harness that ability that he does have and make him into a star? I kind of feel like he needs to go somewhere. I mean, I don't know if he has to go somewhere. I think he's fulfilling his potential at Lyon at the moment. But if Lyon want to sell him, I feel like he needs to go somewhere where he's kind of like the main man, where they kind of get other players to kind of fill in his kind of duties defensively and just get him the ball and allow him to kind of flourish and work his magic. That's the kind of team he needs to go in. And that's the worry with top teams. Like a lot of them, I feel like they can't really take passengers, where I feel like maybe if he goes to a team mid-table where he can have a team like who sits in a low block and plays a counter-attack and just allow him to flourish further up the pitch, keep him up there and just getting the ball as much as possible and have everything flow through him. One of those things, like maybe like a Palace, like replacing Elise kind of thing.
What you're describing
or Eze
is
or something.
like a Dimitri Payet at West Ham.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Something like that. Or even like I'm saying, if Eze leaves, like a Cherki can replace him or something like that. That would be like a kind of thing. But if he goes to a top team, I don't know. I feel like he wouldn't fit.
What about Tottenham then?
Maybe Spurs. but I feel like we're not going to do that. Well, I guess back in the day, we did it with like Van der Vaart and stuff. Well, not really, but I don't know. Look, to be honest, I would like him because I think he's a top talent.
I think a signing like this stinks of Tottenham. You know what I mean? Because he's got a market value currently of like between 38 and 40 million. He's going for 25 million in his release clause this summer. A player with undeniable talent. We've got previous with dealing with Lyon as well. And well, the way you were describing Ryan Cherki, if I didn't know who you were talking about, it could have easily been talking about Ndombele.
Potentially. I think obviously he's a bit more of an offensive player, so he doesn't really have in his game that defensive responsibility, whereas Ndombele was like supposed to be a box-to-box kind of midfielder or centre mid, and that defensive game really left wanting and made him a liability essentially. Cherki's a bit of a different case, but I don't know if he's another Ndombele.
Undeniable talent, the skill set that he does have, the ability on the ball, you know what I mean? That kind of talent.
To be honest, I would like to sign him. I would sign him if I had the choice, because I just think that talent, if he's available for that price, it's too tempting, and I think he would be I think people would love him, but it's whether it would be a good time for a short time, or he would be gone very soon, or he would fall out with managers. I don't know. That's the risk you're taking, I guess.
Yeah, I guess he is still very young, you know what I mean? And a player like that can come in, and with the talent that he does have, and if he shows that grit and that work rate straight away, it won't be long until he becomes a key staple in the team, isn't it?
He's a phenomenal talent. If you harness the talent in the right way, if you can get the best out of him and you get him functioning in the team, there's no stopping him.
Yeah, I agree with that. And he's currently having his best season of his career so far this year. So maybe something has flicked in his brain, because he has had, a past of attitude problems, but maybe that's behind him now. Maybe, he was still very young when those problems came about. And last but not least, we're going to talk about Leroy Sane, as the Bleacher Report are claiming that Arsenal and Tottenham have both already held talks with Leroy Sane's representatives, as his contract at Bayern is coming to an end in the summer. Obviously, he's got extremely high wages out at Bayern. Still an incredible talent, still an incredible player, in my opinion. I think a player like that would take Tottenham's attack definitely up to the next level, but it's just a question of, first of all, you've got the choice between Arsenal and Tottenham right now. There's only one club you're going to, and unfortunately that's not Tottenham. And second of all, how much wages is he still going to command? It's still going to be very high. So I can't see this one being a goer for Tottenham.
I don't think Arsenal are going to be interested in him, to be honest. I don't think Tottenham will be either.
I can see Arsenal being interested in him.
I don't think so. I think
not?
because they got Wanyeri there now, you got Saka there. There's no real need to spend massive wages on him, to be honest.
Arsenal are in the market for a winger.
They maybe a left winger because they need a numbered first choice winger for to replace Martinelli on the right side. Look, maybe Sane could play there as well on the left. He could. He's done it before. I think the wages, his price, his injury record, he hasn't.
Price is free. It's just wages.
Yeah, but you got a massive signing on fee.
Yeah.
Probably, and you've got massive wages, and you've got his not a great injury record as well. He hasn't really been the same player ever since he got that massive injury a few years ago with Man City. He's done well at Bayern, but I don't think he's kind of been as good as he was before that. And look, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong, phenomenal player when he's at his best, and he's still got a lot to offer. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a great talent, but I just think I just don't see Arsenal being interested. And I definitely don't see Tottenham being interested in all those factors, especially he's actually getting near to 30 now. Tottenham, I don't see getting close to what he would want.
But didn't Florian Plettenberg just say not long ago that Arsenal are very much interested in Sane?
Maybe. I don't know. Potentially.
So I think it would be an unbelievable signing for Arsenal if they were to get him, and it would, forget Arsenal anyway. We don't want to talk about Arsenal here. But in terms of Spurs, to get him through the door, I think would be incredible for us, but it's just not going to happen.
I would like it. I would love it, but it won't happen. We don't really do these type of deals with the players of that age and those wages. It's not deals we do.
Yeah, but really, if we do want to bridge that gap, we need to change our wage structure. That's the reality.
Yeah, we and I think we would, but we wouldn't do it for someone of that age.
Yeah, true. Albeit we did allow a 160 grand a week Timo Werner to join the club
on loan.
On loan, yeah. But look, that is your Tottenham update today. Can you see any of these deals getting done this summer? And which ones would you want to get done? Let us know in the comment section below, and remember to smash that subscribe button, like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.